Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to the show and tell for the customer services program development for the Chaperone Application service. If you go on to the next slide, yes, thank you. So yeah, here's just a brief bit of content. So we'll go through the introduction, the context of what the project's actually for, delve into the user research that's been happening in the last couple of weeks, and also a demonstration by Alice from the prototype, which is a very close representation of what will be in live in the next couple of weeks. We also have then some kind of next steps coming through the pipeline in the next couple of weeks, and understand what's coming from the child licensing space, not just in the Chaperone application. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah. Okay, so a bit of context is that there's a need to improve the application process for chaperones who are managing and safeguarding children. Currently, it's a very a slow and paper-based process that requires a lot of back and forth between the applicant, BCC, the DBS service, and various training elements that take a lot of time and resources from BCC, and also are more costly and time consuming than they actually need to be. Next slide, please. So yeah, the problem statement there, as I mentioned, that the current kind of paper-based service is complex, archaic, inadequate, just some kind of negative descriptions of the previous process that's been built mainly out of need rather than design. But some quotes there that the current process means that children are being left behind in Birmingham versus other local authorities. And also, we need to make sure that obviously safeguarding is at the heart of this. So, next slide, please. So the aim of our project, as I've alluded to, is to redesign the current solution using our understanding of the current processes of issuing licenses and permits, and improve the user experience so that Chaperone applicants are able to apply and receive their license in good time, with an integrated view of the DBS service and the training process that they need to go through, so that ultimately safeguarding is improved in the Birmingham area. Next slide, please. On to Alice.
Thanks, Kieran. So now I'll go through some of the user research that we've done on this project. So the user research so far, last time we did share some findings from our first round of research where we conducted 5 user research sessions. We got feedback from participants that was quite varied, and this was mostly due to sort of differing levels of experience or interaction with the Chaperone license application process as it was. Participants stated that the new form was cleaner, the content clear, easy to navigate, and overall an improvement of the current service. And following analysis, that we had sort of clearer actions to take as the team for the team to move on. We also conducted some user research with staff members who processed the Chaperone applications. So the aim of these sessions was to understand their thoughts on the case management system and what guidance would support them to use the new system as well. We had some initial insights to share from this round of research. Sort of our next steps will be to action our findings from the research and implement the changes on the staff-facing system. So sort of some of the initial insights were, again, to provide that further guidance that will help support them to use the new system, as this is something that they haven't used before, and also to change some of the sort of naming conventions throughout the service. So just a little look at what I'm talking about here. This is what the staff see when they'll be processing applications, and this is a work in progress. So just in further detail, the insights from that round of research, staff saw the value in having a system that keeps all the information in one place. So the applicant details, the DBS and training certificates, emails and case notes all together. But to improve navigation, we want to update the system's content so the features are labelled more accurately and the checklist within the system is more specific. So this can guide staff as they're processing the applications and making those checks to provide the licence. And also, so the system, because the system is new to staff, we will need to provide some initial training and potentially some further guidance that gives a sort of step-by-step guide on how to use the new system. I will now sort of go into the sort of form prototype. So this is the user-facing side of the application. So last time we showed you our Figma prototype, and this was mostly sort of the design process, but this wasn't a usable prototype. We tested this with users, made a few changes, and in the last few months been working to sort of bring that application to life with those changes from the user research. As I said, so we've now developed the form in a sort of test environment for us to do another round of user research. And this is where the form is usable and users in those testing, in that test environment can go in and complete the form as they might do sort of on the website themselves. We're currently in the process of doing this testing with Chaperone applicants, and we just want to understand their thoughts on the new online form and what we can do to improve it before it goes live in the next few weeks. Just a few sort of caveats before I go into the demo. This is not the final version. We will be making changes once we finish this round of research. It's close to where we want it to be, but there are a few sort of content changes and potentially navigation that we need to consider after we've done the usability testing. And this will sort of mean that the version that I'm showing you today is not the final version that will go live in the next few weeks. So I'll just exit this and I will go on to the form. Just making sure you can see that okay. Yep. Okay, so what will happen is users will come into this through a sort of guidance page on the website, and this details what it means to be a chaperone and also what is needed for the application, what you might need and what you sort of physical things you'll need to provide. So I'm not actually at the start of the application, so I'll just go back to the beginning. Here we go. There we go. So as I said, this is a test environment, so applicants or users will be coming through sort of a guidance page on the website, and this will be the first kick-out question that we have here. So the first kick-out question is, have you ever been convicted of a crime against a child or a vulnerable person? If you have, yes, this will kick you out of the application straight away. So you'll receive this notification that's saying you're not eligible to be a chaperone and you won't be able to apply. If this isn't the case and you click no, you'll go on and it'll take you through into the application. The next question is, do you have a current enhanced DBS certificate? So all our chaperones require an enhanced DBS and they require this to receive the license. Some chaperones may already have their DBS certificate before they make the application. Some may not, so that's why we give them the option here. We also have some more information that will be linked from the application form about what an enhanced DBS is to provide that to sort of new applicants that haven't received an enhanced DBS certificate before, and they can go into the government website and see how they'd retrieve that. So if I say I'm a new applicant and I click no, I don't have an enhanced DBS certificate yet, goes on to this page where it provides some more information. So it says you must have an enhanced DBS certificate to be a chaperone. You will need to speak to a company that you'll be employed by to arrange this, or you can call Birmingham City Council to speak further about this. An enhanced DBS is something, again, that is required in order to progress the application. But you can save and continue at this stage, and we're sort of working on a solution as for those new applicants that might not have an employer yet and how they would retrieve an enhanced DBS certificate without that employer. And then you will go on to the next question about training. But before I move on to that question, I'm just going to take us back here. So say if I do have my enhanced DBS certificate and I click yes, save and continue, I get the option of saying whether I consent to Birmingham City Council looking at the status on the DBS update service. The DBS update service allows us to check the status of a DBS online, and we are required to give them the option to say yes or no, they would like that to be checked. If they're not registered on the service, you'll need to bring the DBS certificate to interview. If yes, you are, which I'll have to go back on again now. If I say yes, I'm happy for you to check. You are required to then put in your DBS certificate number. So I'll put in a random number here and last name. And this is the last name that will be shown on the certificate, and then your date of birth. And that'll take you back to that training question that you got to in the other route as well. So we're now asking, if successful, do you consent to take part in an NSPCC chaperone training session? So what we're offering new chaperones is that they go through an online NSPCC chaperone training. This is a self-serve training session, so they'll purchase that themselves and then have to upload a certificate once they've gone through this application process and they've completed the training. And we've given some guidance here around the cost of that training, which is £25. If I decide I don't want to do this and I click no, I don't like the idea of doing an NSPCC chaperone training session, it says you must attend the chaperone training. It's required for all the chaperones who want to get a license through Birmingham to complete this training. Therefore, we just have this sort of pop up here that says that they would need to agree in order to continue with the application. And then if you click yes here, you'll go on to the next question that you would have if you clicked yes originally. We then ask for some further details. This is your name and address that would be on your official documents, as this is something we check against and also check against the DBS. I will then put in an address. And the date that you moved in. I'm then also asked for a photo. So this photo will be used for an ID check and also will be put on the chaperone card at the end of the application if I'm successful. So I'll choose a photo here. Save and continue. I'm then asked to provide some referees. So first I'll provide one referee, and this will be a random person. I can choose how I would like Birmingham City Council to contact them. This is either by telephone, email, or both. There we go. And I'll also be asked to confirm that I've been given their permission to contact them about this. And a second referee. Again, here, this just ensures that when they do receive a phone call or an email, that they are expecting to be asked for the referee, just to try and speed up that process. And then we're asking, how can we contact you about your application? So we want to know how the applicant wants to receive sort of updates. So I will click email and text message, but you can do all or just one of them. And I'll put in my email. And phone number. Save and continue. I then come to a chaperone confirmation page. That this is just so I can click that I agree I'm able to carry out the roles and responsibilities of chaperone. And I have read the sort of guidance that came before this, that I would have seen before I clicked into this application, that I understand what the roles and responsibilities are and that I'm able to carry those out. So if I agree to this statement, I can then submit the application. I will then come to a sort of submitted application, received your application page that gives you sort of a confirmation that we've received it. It gives you a sort of reference ID that you can use for the future if you'd like to go back into it. And also it states here, if your application is successful, you'll be invited to attend the NSPCC training that was mentioned earlier. And then you will be asked to input this into the system as a certificate to say that you have conducted this training, and also suggesting that there will be an interview at a later date before being granted that license. So that's the form so far. As I said, this is not sort of our final version. There's a few things in there that we would like to, that we have been talking to users about, and there are a few changes that we might make before this goes live in the next few weeks. So I'll pass it back and go to Kieran.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Could you go on the next slide, please? Is that full screen as well? Sorry, just to...
Sorry, it's just on a go slow.
Yeah, no problem.
It's all the form tabs that I had open. And there we go. Oh. It won't let me.
I think if you press the and then just cycle through, yeah.
It's okay, yeah, it won't let me do it from the current slide. Sorry, everyone.
Fine.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so just some next steps for us in terms of the Chaperone application that you just saw being demoed by Alice there. So as mentioned, there's been user research, so developments based off that, some insights that we've seen in terms of condensing or combining some of the pages, some of the information, just to make that user journey a bit slicker. The final development actions, so it is currently kind of on the shop floor at the moment, so getting that built from a test environment into live. Also the front end look and feel, making sure that it's consistent across the board with the BCC branding, to make sure that the user is kind of aware that it's a legitimate site, and also yeah, it's consistent throughout. And then also the payment features, we're currently kind of hooking that up in the back end to make sure that when an applicant is processing the application, that they're able to submit their payment and it can be processed by the BCC. And obviously making sure all the testing is there to make sure that that payment system is safe and secure for both parties. So once all that's completed, we'll go ahead with deployment and start getting valid applicants through in this new process, and yeah, have applicants coming through with their new ID cards. Next step, next slide, please. So yeah, as mentioned, there's user research currently ongoing on this to make sure we're aware of any user needs that are being well, make sure that we're catering for the user need, and make sure that the user journey is effective and as efficient as possible. And the service design of the Chaperone application is being constantly updated and iterated with that user research in mind. Yeah. And then also, we're not just working on the Chaperone application, we're also looking at work permits and child performance licenses. So these are some other key areas for the customer services program to to review and update in the same vein of protecting and safeguarding as an end result. So they'll be kind of coming down the pipeline in the next coming months. Next slide. Any questions will have to be submitted, obviously this being a recording, but thank you very much and thank you for your time.
Thank you.